Yo, back on it. It's in pieces. So I don't actually know if this was overheating or not. I think a combination of the coolant leak, so I was getting a bit of steam because it wasn't pressurizing, so kind of was overheating but not overheating, and also sensor calibration. So I tried to find some figures off the internet for the K20 sensors and they don't seem to be anywhere near close. So this morning I literally just used the multimeter in there and boiled some water. By the time that I'd got the water in the cup and the sensor in the water and the multimeter connected, I figured it would be about 85 degrees. So I checked the resistance, plumbed that into the mega square, and then I did in my hand, like clench it in my hand, let it stabilize, and I did 37 degrees, so that's about body temperature. And then I did, my dad's fridge has got a temperature on it, like digital display on the front, so I did some water in there, 5 degrees, and yeah, check the resistance, put that in, and then I just hooked up the fan and left it on top of the engine, and I just left the engine idling for ages, topped the coolant up, water up, and it took ages. It got to like 85 quick, and then it slowly crept up to 88, 89, and then it sat at 90 for ages, and just before it kicked to 91 the fan come in. So I want the fan to come in about there. It was coming in at 88 degrees on the old engine, so I'm within 3 degrees on the sensor calibration, and I'm happy with that. And this morning when I turned the car on, both coolant and intake temp sensors were at like the same, like 10 degrees or 11 degrees or whatever. So I'm pretty sure that the values are the same for both. Now the other thing I'm on with is the engine mount, the gearbox mount on the other side wasn't like welded up properly, and it shifted a little bit. The engine shifted a tiny bit forward. It's just like twisted on. It was like a couple of really, like not tacks, but a bit more than just a tack. But yeah, it shifted a little bit, so I'm gonna modify that and get that right. I'd melted through a wastegate line, so it's lucky that I haven't been boosting it. I presume it was melted through, but when I pulled on it, it might have just been stuck. It could have just been stuck to the manifold and not actually leaking. But I'm going to redo that line. It's got to come down here and across to in there, and I'm just going to like tie it back to the loom, put a longer length in and tie it back to the loom. And then what else? Yeah, get a fan shroud on there and get a fan hooked up. Driver side drive shaft, I think I'm going to shorten that, so because I think it's bottoming out. And I just realised something that I'd never really thought of before, but when the shaft is in straight, you can have like full penetration, you know, full plunge, but as soon as it kicks over and the joint goes on its angle in the cup, it basically reduces how much clearance you've got. So the length would be alright if I raised the car and had the drive shaft perfectly straight. That's why it's fine in the air, and then I thought, oh yeah, when you lower it and the arms go like whoop, that it would effectively lengthen the drive shaft, which it kind of does, but kicking it over at an angle reduces the clearance at the bottom of the cup. Makes sense now that I've done it and messed up. I've never done it, never like got it wrong before, but you know, it's just one of them things. Easily fixed, and I've got like a few jobs that I want to get done today, so I'm going to replace that thermostat housing with this fresh one, and yeah, just work through it, do this mount, do the radiator, fan, do the wastegate pipe. I might actually change the spring, so I've got a 5 psi spring on the seat there, which I know is 5 psi, and I've got a feeling that this one in there is 8.5, which is a bit too much for the minute. I think, maybe not. Maybe I should just send it. Don't think I've got enough injector to just send it. Anyway, I'm gonna get off the phone and crack on because I'm just talking shit. Hopefully there'll be a driving clip later. Holy Toledo! Right, so pretty sure that earlier I made absolutely no sense about the drive shaft. But you can see, you might not be able to see, but it's all going slightly uphill now, and you would have thought that that would effectively lengthen the shaft. If I can get my hand in here, you can see that rock solid. There's no in and out plunge. The cup is really nice and far in the cup. When you overextend them and the joint ends up on the outside of the cup, it will split the cup. It's common on like Nissans and stuff when they're slammed on rear-wheel drive Nissans. So if I let the jack down now, you will see what I mean. Oh, I've got grease on my hands. Need to squash my hand between the car and the jack. Anyway, now you can see that isn't too bad on the plunge. It's quite a nice amount. What happens when you jack it up, it goes like that, goes like, you know, it goes up like that, and then the joint necks out. Also, it's got an angle going backwards as well. By the way, this is nowhere near as extreme as on a Micra standard engine. You can see how far back I've got it. I couldn't go any further back without notching this tower. Anyway, I'm gonna get the shaft out and I'm gonna modify it and then refit it, and then we should be good to go. Right, so I'm just about packing up for the day. Got all the car back together. Managed to bodge a fan in there, but everything's a little bit on the close side. It's going to have to be trimmed and modified a bit tomorrow or whenever. And did a bunch of other jobs as well. Can't really remember what they are right now. But I'll show you how much plunge I got. Obviously we're jacked up, but got a good like 10 mil, 10-15 mil now. So we should be golden. Hopefully I'll get a driving clip on the way home. Nothing too major because I don't know what boost and that I'm running, so be pretty chill.